What if I told you that Florentino Perez is planning the most controversial transfer move since the year 2000? Barcelona's golden boy, their midfield maestro, the heir to Xavi and Iniesta, could be heading to the Santiago Bernabéu. Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a story that could literally break the internet and reignite one of football's most intense rivalries. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because you do not want to miss stories like this. We're talking about Real Madrid potentially signing Pedri from Barcelona. Yes, you heard that right. Pedri. From Barcelona to Real Madrid. Before you click away thinking this is just another clickbait rumor, stick with me because the story has layers, history, and some seriously spicy context that you need to hear. Let's rewind a bit and talk about why Real Madrid are even in this position. When Toni Kroos hung up his boots, he didn't just leave a jersey behind. He left a gaping void in Real Madrid's midfield that, frankly, nobody has been able to fill. And trust me, it's not for lack of trying. Kroos was the metronome, the guy who dictated tempo, controlled games, and made everything look effortless. That left foot of his, poetry in motion, his vision, absolutely world-class. When he was on the pitch, Real Madrid had a calm, composed presence that could break down any defense with surgical precision. Now, Los Blancos have tried everything. They've shuffled the deck more times than a Vegas dealer. Jude Bellingham? Incredible talent, but he's more of a box-to-box dynamo than a deep-lying playmaker. Aurelien Tchouameni? Physical beast, great defensive presence, but let's be honest, his passing range isn't quite Kroos level. Fede Valverde? The man runs like he's got rocket boosters strapped to his boots, but again, not quite the orchestrator Madrid needs. And here's where it gets interesting. The club initially thought they could rely on Luka Modric to step into that role. I mean, it made sense, right? Modric is a legend, a Ballon d'Or winner, one of the greatest midfielders of all time. But here's the thing, Real Madrid made a calculated decision. Given Modric's age, they decided not to extend his contract and let him move to AC Milan. Now, was that the right call? Well, that's debatable. But what's not debatable is that Real Madrid currently don't have anyone who can replicate what Kroos brought to the table. Oh, and it gets better. Or worse, depending on how you look at it. Even their manager, the brilliant Xabi Alonso, saw this problem coming from a mile away. Alonso specifically requested the club to sign Martin Zubimendi. For those who don't know, Zubimendi is exactly the type of player Real Madrid needed. A technically gifted defensive midfielder with exceptional passing ability. Someone who could control the tempo and dictate play from deep. But here's where Real Madrid's front office dropped the ball. They said no. They denied Alonso's request. And guess what happened? Zubimendi ended up signing for Arsenal. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. So now Real Madrid are in this awkward position where they've realized they made a mistake. They're scrambling to find solutions, and their incompetence has already cost them one of their top targets. It's like watching someone ignore all the warning signs, drive past every exit, and then act surprised when they end up completely lost. This brings us to the main event. According to reports from the touchline, Florentino Perez has his eyes set on someone who would cause an absolute earthquake in the football world. Someone who wears the famous Blaugrana stripes. Someone who embodies everything Barcelona stands for. That someone is Pedri. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no way. Absolutely no way. And honestly, I don't blame you for being skeptical. But before you completely dismiss this, let's talk about why this isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. First of all, Florentino Perez isn't just any president. This man has a history of pulling off the impossible. He's brought together Galacticos, he's signed players nobody thought Real Madrid could sign, and he's always dreaming big. According to reports, Perez doesn't just admire Pedri Euro, he dreams of bringing him to the Bernabéu. And here's the kicker. Perez wants to repeat the Luis Figo deal from 2000. For the younger viewers who might not know about this, let me paint you a picture of one of the most controversial transfers in football history. The year 2000. Luis Figo was Barcelona's captain, their superstar, their leader. He was adored at Camp Nou. And then, in a move that shocked the entire footballing world, he signed for Real Madrid. Barcelona fans felt betrayed, heartbroken, furious. The rivalry between these two clubs went to another level. When Figo returned to Camp Nou wearing Real Madrid's white, the reception was, well, let's just say it was hostile. Barcelona fans threw everything at him. And I mean everything. The most infamous incident? Someone threw a severed pig's head at him. Yeah, that actually happened. That's how intense the hatred was. That's how much this transfer hurt Barcelona fans. And that was in the year 2000, before social media, before Twitter, before Instagram, before everyone had a camera in their pocket and a platform to voice their opinions. Now imagine that happening today. Imagine Pedri, Barcelona's golden boy, moving to Real Madrid in the era of social media. The backlash would be nuclear. The memes would be endless. The tweets would crash servers. Figo got a pig's head thrown at him, and that was in a simpler time. Pedri could face something far worse in the court of public opinion. But let's talk about Pedri himself, because this isn't just about any player. Pedri is special. The 23-year-old arrived at Barcelona from Las Palmas back in 2020, and from day one you could tell this kid was different. He's got that Barcelona DNA. The touch, the vision, the intelligence, it's all there. He doesn't just play football, he thinks football. He sees passes that others don't. He moves into spaces that seem to open up magically, and he does it all with this calm, almost effortless elegance. People aren't exaggerating when they say he's on track to be this generation's Xavi or Andres Iniesta. Now, he's not quite at their level yet a Euro. Those are two of the greatest midfielders to ever play the game a Euro. But the trajectory is there. The potential is undeniable. Pedri has become a cornerstone of Barcelona's midfield. He's already a hero at Camp Nou. Already beloved by the fans, already someone they see as the future of the club. He embodies everything the Catalans look for in their midfielders. Technique, intelligence, creativity, and that special ability to control the game. And here's the thing, Pedri is under contract until 2030. He bleeds Barcelona. He's said all the right things, shown all the right commitment, and by all accounts, he'd rather retire than wear a Real Madrid shirt. So this whole thing sounds like nothing but hopes and dreams from Perez, right? Pipe dream. Except, remember what I said about Figo? Yeah, the same things were said about him. He'd never leave Barcelona for Real Madrid. He's a Barcelona legend. He loves the club. And yet, it happened. And it wasn't just Figo. Remember Ronaldo Nazario? The original Ronaldo El Fenomeno. He was at Barcelona, and then he ended up at Real Madrid. These moves that seemed impossible, they happened. In the modern game, loyalty is becoming harder and harder to come by. We've seen players we thought would retire at one club end up moving for the right offer, the right project, the right money. We've seen lifelong club heroes switch to rivals. We've seen the impossible transfers happen time and time again. So while a Pedri move to Real Madrid seems absolutely insane right now, is it really that far-fetched? If Perez comes knocking with a massive offer, if he promises Pedri the world, if he positions Real Madrid as the place where he can win everything, could it happen? I'm not saying it will. I'm not even saying it's likely. But I am saying that in football, never say never. And here's what makes this even more interesting. Real Madrid are desperate. They need a midfielder who can do what Kroos did. They've tried the internal options, they've tried shuffling players around, and nothing has worked. Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Euro, all fantastic players in their own right. But none of them are the deep-lying pass masters that Real Madrid needs. The club has been doing their homework, scouring the transfer market, assessing every possible option. They already missed out on Zubimendi. They can't afford to keep making mistakes. They need to find their Kroos replacement, and they need to find him soon because the longer this void exists, the more it affects their ability to compete at the highest level. And that's where the Pedri links come in. If you're Florentino Perez, and you're looking at midfielders who have that technical ability, that vision, that intelligence, who fits the bill better than Pedri? He's one of the best young midfielders in the world. He's exactly the profile Madrid needs. And yes, he happens to play for Barcelona. According to the reports, Perez is planning to make his move in the summer of 2027. That's not tomorrow, that's not next month, that's over a year away. Why does that matter? Well, it gives Real Madrid time to lay the groundwork. It gives them time to work on Pedri, to plant seeds, to maybe create doubts. A lot can happen in a year. Barcelona's project could stall. Real Madrid could win It also gives Pedri time to potentially reconsider. Again, I'm not saying he will, but football is a business and players are human. They have ambitions, they have desires, they want to win trophies and compete at the highest level. If Real Madrid come calling with a project that promises Champions League glory, league titles, and a chance to play with some of the best players in the world, can we really say with 100% certainty that Pedri wouldn't at least listen? Look, let's be real here. The chances of this actually happening are probably slim. Pedri loves Barcelona, he's under contract until 2030, and the backlash would be absolutely insane. But the fact that Florentino Perez is even thinking about this, the fact that Real Madrid are so desperate for a Kroos replacement that they're willing to consider the impossible, tells you everything you need to know about where they are right now. They've tried everything else. They've missed out on Zubimendi. They've shuffled their current players around with no success. So maybe, just maybe, they're thinking, why not go for broke? Why not try to pull off another Figo? Would it destroy Pedri's legacy at Barcelona? Absolutely. Would it cause chaos unlike anything we've seen in modern football? Without a doubt. Would it be the most controversial transfer of our generation? 100%. But would it solve Real Madrid's midfield problems? Yeah, it probably would. So that's the story, folks. Florentino Perez dreaming of bringing Pedri to Real Madrid, trying to recreate the Figo transfer 27 years later. Is it crazy? Yes. Is it impossible? Well, history suggests maybe not as impossible as we think. What do you guys think? Could this actually happen? Is there any chance Pedri would make the move? And if he did, what would the reaction be? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already.